Okay, it's my honor to introduce our guest speaker for the night, Queen Quet. Her official name is Marquita Goodwine. She was elected as the Queen of the Gullah Geechee Nation, and she's going to give you a lot of background on this. Did anybody see the Mel Gibson movie, The Patriot? Well, she was the consultant on the Sea Island part of that movie, so she was behind that. She will give you far more information on her background, what she does about the Gullah Nation than I can stand here to give. So I'm going to introduce her right away. Queen?
God, why trouble the water? God, why trouble the water? God, why trouble the water? Ready. This the time I hear you. It's still chilly like a dish. Wonder what is going on my soul. What's time this time here, yeah? Still have wood on it. In that fireplace and thing. Storm and thing, you ain't have to do all that. Still a chop wood this guy, yeah? Good God. Why him? Why be cricket thing like that? Oh no. You haven't need no castle on your brother. Look, go in there, we have Jonah. Try to put it down. Now, have a bottle. Reynolds, the gas snap for one. Say, William, Greg, the ancestors that were to say for true. God don't trouble this your water. I need y'all to think like that. They're clean it does. They're in the going on. They're quick show. Going on. You have fear of it. Oh, the evening, together, quite deep, thing like that. A lot of people study on us. Plenty of time, no. And cheering up, study self-taught. But it won't go in the water, but play plenty. But no, all that play plenty will stop soon. As the water ain't fast, they're down yonder. What a failure. One day we done can't even exist. But quite we think so. Say, God, why trouble the water? You're going from down here and chucked on. Why no time for that? Grab on. Cabin, this year land they call on up country so scarecrow. And I be going there, Greg, God, I've been a wonder. When? A big old cat, they done walk on all it out. Let me pour on all the ground. When I get you on it, and chill over the inside, if you can't get like this, they be on stand tall. And I said, why am I? He said, when I stand. I said, what kind of thing this is? Tell me this number. I studied so much today. Then I said, oh, all right. At the end of another week. So I said, well, good afternoon. How you doing this evening? Oh, they understood me a little better. Then I said, well, what kind of big animal y'all got up here in our country? Because we ain't got them down where I want to see all. They said, what kind of big animal? I said, I see paw print all in the road when I've been coming here. They said, well, I want to do them at Clemson. I said, but you ain't, I like cat, but that one look a little too big for me. They said, no, he ain't running loose like that. We did the cat all over with the orange. I said, oh, y'all didn't like that children in the middle. Y'all like the bug, the gamecock. They said, yeah, we ain't like them. The cat like to eat the bird. I said, oh, that's how you gonna do it, yeah. I said, see, we not doing none of that tall. We like the bud for fly. We like the cat for prowl and keep his neck out the yard. And we love the fish and things. But we the day. See, y'all children don't know about that. Because y'all ain't got no water, y'all. They said, well, we come down there to get the fish. I said, y'all come for get we shrimp and we crab and everything else. The oyster and all of this. They said, yes, ma'am, don't make me hungry. So I said, but you know something? I come up here to ask y'all if you know what we know down there. The thing ain't look like it used to look. And even if, you know, and it usually be cold, it hot. And we usually hot, now it little chilly still. They said, yeah, they call the thing climate change. I said, hell with that. You hear anybody talk? They said, yes, ma'am. Said, we looking into that too. I said, y'all going to look into something. When you gonna figure something out? So they had to do this one. I said, ain't no, huh? I said, understand. We're in the garden, what we do on the earth, we have to do what we can to take care of the earth. And people will think, say, when you say take care of the earth, you just mean the soil, you know. But I said, great God, where are the dear from? You can't do that. Need the water. I said, because we see islands on Jacksonville, North Carolina, down in Jacksonville, Florida. We wouldn't have dared anything like that, tall, without that soil and that water. So you can't take them apart. They're part of who we are. The land will be family, and the waterway will be bloodline. So I said, we didn't know all that. But you one of them Gullahs, ain't you? I said, yes, I'm Gullah Geechee. I said, oh, that's right, on the children of crack your teeth like that. Y'all talk like this up here. I forgot, I'm so sorry. I said, I should have arrived and said, hi, y'all. And brought y'all some sweet tea, right? And they said, oh, yes, we got you now. I said, oh, you can understand this one. They said, oh, yes, ma'am. I said, then let's get to work. I started working on some different things back then, but it was all about health and healing. My first time going to Clemson. And why was I going to Clemson? Because somebody had uncovered the fact that on this little sea island called St. Helena were these people who, although you might understand the way you don't understand the way they talk, they understand the way you talk. And we understood your language, we could write it, we could use it, but we wanted to know how do you use it? And what are you using it for? Because where we are, it's a lot slower than y'all city-fied folks have been. We move with those waves and those tides that come and go. We like being there along the marsh line and just breathing in that smell that you don't get anywhere else. I heard the scientists tell me it's pluck mud. The Gullah Geechee is just mud. We don't know about all that pluffing and stuff. But here it is, that unique smell just seemed to revive our souls no matter where we would be. And that any Gullah Geechee I've ever met said they could not leave here. That y'all call the low country, we call them home, the Gullah Geechee Nation. All right, it takes up all the sea islands from Jacksonville, North Carolina to Jacksonville, Florida, and 30 to 35 miles inland to the St. Johns River. That they couldn't leave any of that area, end up anywhere else in the world, and not eventually feel like, I've got to get to this water. And I said, you too, huh? This did that happen to you? I said, yeah, when I was in New York, but that Hudson River didn't do me no good. I was about to take a cast net down there to the piers and eat nothing that came out of that water. So when I sat down in a restaurant in Manhattan, you know, one of those fine dining establishments, and I saw on the menu seafood. I read it. I said, oh, really? They had the audacity to use the word fresh in front of the fish. I called the waiter over. I said, excuse me, you have fresh fish? Oh, yes, ma'am. I said, you have fresh fish? Yes. I said, then where was it caught? He said, well, you know, we bring it in from so-and-so. I said, that's not what I call fresh fish. If it's been on ice, it ain't fresh. Where I come from, the gills are still moving when they get to my house. That's fresh fish. Now, you shipped it in from somewhere else, it done been iced, I don't call it fresh fish. Just call it fish. Just give it a name and let's move on. So he said, so ma'am, would you like one of the fish? I said, absolutely not. Just wanted to understand how y'all use this word in the city. And now, as time has gone on, people now know what I do. It's better to get your fish wild, as they like to call it, in the environmental arena now. And I said, well, when the fish got to get wild? I mean, people get a little wild. I don't know that the fish is wild. What y'all saying? You know, and I know you call, you know, the deers and stuff that we hunt wildlife. Y'all calling the fish the wildlife too? Or is it humans whose lives have gotten too wild and that's now you want to put it on the fish? And they said, well, interesting that you would say that. But it's because some people are farming the fish now. I said, the fish growing in the field now? They said, no, in tanks. I said, well, no, I don't want any of that either. They said, they're doing it with the shrimp too, Queen. I said, no, I don't want any of that either. And they said, now we're doing aquaculture. I said, now that sounds fun. What do we get to do in aquaculture? Is it like Aquaman in the movie? We get to go down there? What are we doing? This a new tourist attraction? They said, no. This is with the oysters. I said, well, what'd that mean? He said, oh, you know, we're putting these cages around the oysters and we're testing whether or not we can get them to grow in these controlled environments. I said, I get it now. So whatever you can't control, you call it wild. It sound a lot like some of my folks. This term that became a label for many Gullah Geechees who fought against the militias who also wanted to try to re-enslave them on the Sea Islands during chattel enslavement. They joined with the indigenous Americans, the Yenisei, the Kusabo, the Adisto, these creeks around here with all their names and these little towns with their names. Those are names of people. Those are names of ethnic groups. And here it is that the Africans, the Igbo, Mandinka, Malinke, Yoruba, Gola, Geechee, Mendi, Tembi, Fiki, Bibio, and numerous other groups joined with them. And when they fought back, they called them wild. Then they said, we're going to exile you. They started using a Spanish term, Cimarron, Seminoles. Black Seminoles, Afro Seminoles, or Gullah Geechees. Whether you find them in the Bahamas, or you find them in Oklahoma, or you find them in Texas, or when you go over into Mexico, they call us Muskogo. But I said, you call us wild. You said we're exiled, but truly we were unconquerable. So you labeled us because why? You couldn't control us. So I said, interesting that now people would do the same for the very foods that many of us have come to love and that truly my community thrives and survives from. That we would call the thing that God placed in the natural waters that God created wild. But then when we extract it from there and put it in a tank or do something else so we could study it, hello, right? That then we say, well, that's not wild. But then what do we call it? And they went. Because it all depends on what scientist is in the laboratory, what name they decide to give that experiment, and how we look at our theories. And we try to figure out whether or not what we put forth is actually the true case or not. And sometimes we never come to a conclusion. But we keep studying, right? And by the time we come up with another theory, and I know y'all students are saying, what? I thought that once I get my DR in front of my name and my PH and my D behind, I can settle in, find me a good tenured job, especially down in the Caribbean somewhere where I can tan every day and go out on a boat and stuff and call it work, right? That I'd be done. Oh no, you're just getting started. Right, vets in the room? Yes, I got some doctors in the house. Right? They're just getting started. That's when the wildlife really begins. It's somebody else saying something else is not balanced in the environment. The ecology is out of whack some other way. Some scientists that came up with another term for something, maybe, right? And now we either have to prove or disprove the theoretical standards that he's operating within and whether or not this is actually factual or not. And then we all sit there and argue at these conferences that we pay a whole lot of money to attend. So I'm not mad at folks when they get there and they want to go wild. That's why they love the receptions, right? But my thing about it is that while we're doing all of that, what is still happening in the ecology of the world and in the ecosystem that we're all really a part of is still going on outside. There's going to be a natural order. Mother Nature tries to reset things back where she had them. Everybody in this room got a mama. You ever notice how you leave the house and you leave your room one way? But if mom was home, what happened? You came back, the room was what? What is it? It was all straightened up. So it was different than when you left. I'm for straightening things up. If you messed it up, you ought to straighten it up. And Gullah Geechee mamas are that way. They will quickly straighten you out if you don't straighten it up. And they ain't gonna tell you no 2 and 3 and 4 times to straighten nothing up. They expect us to be one time and give you the look. And he's looking like and they get to work. So I'm not upset when people say to me, but things are out of order. So we're trying to see, can we help understand how to straighten it up, get it right. And so I thought about it when this email came to my office that said that this #1 group in the world wanted me to hang out with them when they got to Charleston. Because they said it was a PRIMO group. I said, yes! I said, those are my kind of people. I said, PRIMO is par excellence. I said, of course. Who is the PRIMO group? That sounds like my people. I need the t-shirt. What y'all talking about? And then they said, well, you do realize it's an acronym. I said, for what though? Kind of getting a little scared nowadays when words start with the letter P sometime around here. They said, well, the P is for pollutants. Excuse me? So why would I want to be with the people who are polluting? No, they don't pollute. No. It got to do with some of the work you do. Is that right? They said, yeah, because they actually are trying to find mechanisms and ways to reduce pollutants that they can really understand what's going on. And guess where? Where? In the water. They're marine group. I said, oh, you don't mean like, you know. They said, no, not them ones that live near your house in Beaufort County, not them. I said, okay, good. I said, so these are folks we can go down to the shoreline with, and we can actually discuss things that I love, that are part of my lifestyle, that are what every Gullah Geechee enjoys, the water, until tourist season. Well, we can hardly get to the water. Like yesterday, where it took me the same amount of time to get from St. Helena Island to James Island that it took me just to tear from James Island's entrance to Folly Beach itself. And I was going there for hands across the sands, to stand up against seismic gun testing and offshore drilling in the Atlantic. Wasn't my first time taking the stand, and it won't be my last. But as I sat there in traffic and moved 1 inch at a time and was reminded of the snail as we did, and it could have been, I said, isn't this interesting? Because there's other times of year when we celebrate, when we release the turtles we've rescued, and one of them has babies, and they have them somewhere inside somebody's nature center. And they said, but it's time that they got to go out to the ocean naturally like they would have if they had just been on the beach, where they should have been all the time. And we know we can't help them. We got to release them here, and they got to make their way to the ocean. But can they survive it? Can we survive it when the ocean starts making its way to us? I've lived through many, many hurricanes here on my home island, St. Helena Island. So no, I'm from Choctaw. I'm from where there's still dirt roads, Spanish moss hanging over them, where you do still smell the pluff in that mud without even having to go to the shore. You smell it in the air. See, here in Charleston, there's so many cars, you don't know what you're smelling in the air. And unfortunately, I learned that as many people come to Charleston, they look at the beauty of this lovely, holy city, they often wonder about, well, where are the people we read about? The ones who grew all that Carolina gold rice, the ones who grew that indigo, the ones who picked Sea Island cotton. And Sea Island cotton was a lot like us Gullah Geechees because it needs that salt air. Well, it doesn't grow. You go to the deep south, it's not Sea Island cotton, it's a different breed. But then when you want to eat, you ain't eating cotton, you want that good old plate of rice. And now you need a different kind of water, fresh water. So when I looked at this group par excellence, PRIMO, to find out more about who they were and where I would go with PRIMO, I saw that. They said, well, they don't separate fresh water from the marine. And I said, interesting. We would say fresh from salt water. I said, so you learn something new every day. A different way to communicate. Besides cracking their teeth like a this thing like that, because I showed them to get thing like that. They said, what is? Right? Y'all don't know, so stop saying yes. You didn't know what I said. So I said, yes, because I'm sure when they get here, they probably don't speak our language. They're probably going to say, what is it? When they hear it. But here it was, and I said, well, this is really intriguing to me that they don't separate fresh water from marine, because that's what I've been teaching for decades. You hear people calling people saltwater Geechee. I said, what do you mean a saltwater Geechee? The Sea Island sitting in the Atlantic Ocean. We all on saltwater. Then people like, oh, because you know, some live. I said, what, with one little freshwater inlet somewhere? Every now and then, along the whole coastline of the Gullah Geechee Nation? Let's get serious. We are Gullah Geechee people. There's no separation of freshwater ones and saltwater ones. And so when I saw that y'all also said you don't separate the two, I said, I knew they were the #1 group that was good friends of mine. So, as you also noticed, I enjoy music. Anyone else here enjoy music? Yes. So when I looked up PRIMO just to make sure that I was with others and performing correctly in an intellectual capacity, I wanted to ensure that I knew the definition of the word PRIMO and realized it had to do with music. And I said, isn't that interesting? I didn't necessarily plan to sing to the scientists, but maybe I should get the scientists to sing with me. Don't look scared, I'm not doing it. Some of y'all look like, oh, I'm prepared for that. How dare her? I didn't do the calculations on doing that. Y'all all right. But you can't be here in the Gullah Geechee Nation. You can't be here in the holy city and don't hear some singing. Singing is really what kept us going, what kept us alive, that kept our culture going, that in fact caused people to find us. All them evening time shouts beneath these Spanish moss-laden trees and whatnot caused people to say, where is that coming from? We hear it, but we don't see it. But what is that? Sound. And they would follow it many times into deep wooded areas. But by the time you got in there, you smelled that smell again. And you realized just behind them was a creek. Because most of our bush hoppers, brush hoppers, are along the waterways. Most of our burial areas are along the waterways. So this is why it's so significant to me when I find groups that study water and that also want to help us to stop others from polluting water. So I've stood with many groups now to stop the use of plastics, especially single-use plastic bags. South Carolina's coastline has done an outstanding job where we've gotten every town and every county along the coast to say we ban them so that people would reuse their bags or carry your stuff in your hand and go to your car. But when I went into Georgia, the people said, would you like a bag? And I said, what bag? And I said, they haven't banned them. Then I got an email that the General Assembly in the Midlands wanted to ban our bands. Why would you ban a band? That doesn't make sense. We've done all this work to educate people that we need to stop doing what we used to do in order to heal the water, heal the earth, and thereby heal ourselves. Because the ocean is acidifying because we have too many chemicals and too many plastics going into the water, even from washing our clothing, and much less these other things that many of you study all the time. All of these things that are in your toxicology reports, the PCBs and all these things that I learned about because I founded the Gullah Geechee Sustainability Think Tank, and we started working along with the Medical University of South Carolina here in Charleston, MUSC, to find out about autoimmune diseases and why were some of our people having lupus. Why are we dealing with even things in the air in Charleston? Why are more children having asthma? And we're thinking it's all coming from the air, and they're saying it's not all coming from the air. Some is coming from the water. And I said, oh, you mean the same place where the shrimp and the fish and the crab and the oysters live? They said, right. I said, so don't y'all hear the statement, you are what you eat? So how is it that you think that if all that stuff goes in the water, and you do go down to the water and you cast your net, and you bring it out of the water, and you bring it home, and you put it on that plate, and then you ingest it, that you're not ingesting that plastic too. You're not ingesting all those chemicals too. The stuff people are washing their boats with and scrubbing them off at the marina so they look pretty, only for them to take them out in the marsh and get in the mud anyway. So here it is. We have to learn how to balance things. And that's what our culture has always been about. Balance. Harmony. That's why when I saw that PRIMO dealt with music, I was like, yes, harmony. Some scientists that instead of debating and arguing, they want to work together in harmony. They want to get a flow like water. Finds its own level. But when it arrives, is it a good sea level? Or is it too high to sustain what you have there? So we have to look at all these things in context now. And so I looked at it and I said, well, again, PRIMO is supposed to mean top rated, first class. So it shouldn't be the first class like your 100s class. I mean like first class, like when they overcharge you at the airport. Y'all are supposed to be the first class folks. So I said, oh yes, I'm in good company. Where else would a queen be except in first class? And interestingly enough, I just got back from the UNESCO's first World Water Conference. And I decided to take a train ride from Paris to Brussels. Where y'all think? And what? Say it loud. There you go, my girl. A plus for you, everybody else won. Okay. In first class, I gave y'all the answer. This was an open book test. Oh, because I didn't let you Google it, you couldn't tell me. First class. So I said, well, I've always been that A student myself. So I said, well, I want to make sure I study what this group I'm hanging with studies. But I want them to see the journey I've taken to get here tonight, too. Because even though they're in the city of Charleston, they might not get a chance to go out onto the shorelines the way I do, like I did yesterday. That's at Folly Beach, when I did a libation ceremony as we stood against this drilling and seismic testing, as the Gullah Geechee Nation always goes to our oceans and to our waterways to stand up for the water, but also to have the water rejuvenate us. It's taken me to other places to even speak at conferences and meetings about the work we've done with the Gullah Geechee Sustainability Think Tank and how environmental determinants are affecting the autoimmunity of our community. It's taken me to Washington, D.C. to speak before the congressional groups about healthy oceans and healthy economies. And I got a resounding applause there, and they told me that never happens in Washington, D.C. in a hearing. So I said, well, I'm glad I made her story that month. It was Women's Her Story Month. And so we still march along our coast, we beat our drums the way our ancestors did, and we still sing at the ocean. And the ocean embraces us, heals us, sustains us. And that's how we know we be Gullah Geechee anointed people. So you hear a lot of songs in the Gullah Geechee Nation, like Wade in the Water, Get Away Chilly Jordan, and these types of things, because there's a harmony between us and the way we function and the water. So of course, when our elders start saying they got swelling, or they have pain, or they're not breathing like they normally do, we're concerned. And we're especially concerned if that's coming from the seafood. So we started an initiative in the Gullah Geechee Sustainability Think Tank called Safe Sea, Healthy Meat. We also wanted to look at seafood safety and human health. So I've spoken even before the American Public Health Association, before 30,000 people, and then they said the ones who view it online is about 1 million of their members that view it online as well, to try to understand how do you infuse cultural heritage into scientific education, much less the health of the people. And so I always find it interesting that scientists don't realize that if you're studying a topic, there's always a connection to people. And they look at me and go, what an ingenious concept. I'm like, come out of the lab. You've been in there too long. And so when I looked and I saw that immunotoxicology, which is, of course, y'all know, the subdiscipline of toxicology, was one of the things that many of you here work on. I said, well, that's interesting, because this is the work that I've been doing by default. That I've been doing the work that you do. Maybe I need to be a member of PRIMO by default. And we'll talk later. I heard that we can become collaborators and comrades through this meeting. I heard that earlier. So if that was true, I'm in. Okay? Like I said, par excellence. I like groups like that. So I looked it up. I said, well, you know, pollutant responses in marine organisms. I'm going to look up organism to make sure we're talking about the same thing. Because I know organism to be an individual, animal, plant, or single cell creature. Is that what you know it to be? Yes? Am I right or wrong? Some of y'all look a little strange. ¿Qué pasa? ¿Cómo estás? Okay. So now, it said also, though, that it's the material or structure of that individual life form. So I guess that's what a lot of y'all look at, right? Like, what is that organism made of, right? Naturally, what does it consist of? Because otherwise, well, how would you know it was polluted, right? You have to know what it looks like without the gook in it. Let's use some scientific terminology. Okay, that woke you up. So it said also it's a whole with interdependent parts likened to a living being. I said, again, divine order, that they would ask me the chiefess of the Gullah Geechee Nation, to do their keynote and to welcome them here to Charleston, because the Gullah Geechee Nation is a body. Look at that on the screen. That is our official logo. If you look up front, you see our flag. Anybody notice something that's in the center of it? What's in the center? A tree. I heard you whisper. A tree. Say it. I heard you say it. Of what? A tree of what? People. Of people. So, those individuals are interlinked. They're interdependent. This is an African family tree. We don't use the little grids, you know how we make them a lot over here. We do the flow chart. You put the great-great-grandparents at the top and the line come down and the children come down here and then their children's another and it flows down, right? That's how scientists like to do stuff. I'm a mathematician by degrees in computer science, okay? Scientist, so y'all know I know how to do those. But in African tradition, you have a master carver find and seek the wood, and they carve out the family in it. It's a one piece of wood. So it's inextricably tied together. The same way Gullah Geechee culture is inextricably tied to the land and the water of this coast. You don't pull it apart. As a nation, I was elected the head of state, in fact, head funded body of the Gullah Geechee Nation, as the official spokesperson for Gullah Geechee people worldwide. So there's only one head on a body. But we have a Wisdom Circle Council of Elders that I always tell people is my right hand. And then we have an Assembly of Representatives that I always tell people is my left hand. And then I say everybody else who's a native Gullah Geechee is the rest of the body. All right? I was elected a head on a body. We're not a headless horseman type operation. All right? So in order to have that whole organism move so that people know we still existed here, before they eliminated our culture, before they destroyed every stitch of land by building across all of it, and then displacing not only us, but also the marshes that we need for balance in the ecosystem. We came together, and I got elected in a 1 year long election, not a 1 day. All right? From 1999 to 2000. And then I was installed at Sullivan's Island, just up the creek. You on that thing like that from Louis downtown Charleston. So Sullivan's Island was the place where over 40% of all Africans enslaved in North America were brought through. And these bodies are them. The Igbo, Mandinka, Malinke, Yoruba, Gullah, Geechee, Mendi, Temni, Fi, Ibibio, and so forth. Our ancestors who are within us. They are the cells of our being. They are who we are. So when I walk around today, my ancestors are walking around today as well. They are not gone as far as we're concerned. They're still there and things like that. And where we get them, we sing at the water. So of course, when we don't hear it, we know something is wrong. And we started realizing everybody didn't respect the water the way we do. So when they come, like I mentioned, we love it except for tourist season. We notice that's the time of the year when these people think that plastic can grow from the water because it casts things out of their hands. You brought it to the beach, take it back from the beach with you. You put it in your boat at your house, take it back out when you get home. Don't toss it in the water. But they're not getting those messages. We are. We scientists are getting those messages. We're getting them by email, we're getting them by text, we're getting them to Twitter. We're saying, what is going on with these people? Don't they get it already? Did their mama not straighten their room often enough? That's the problem. Their mama should have stopped straightening the room and taught them how to straighten it themselves. And then when they would get out here in the street, they would act like somebody who had some manners, as we would say. So they wouldn't just throw things out of their hands and not realize that it's not somebody else's job to clean it up. It's your job to clean it up. So it's not the politician's job to clean it up. It's your job to clean it up. It's not the scientist's job to clean it up. It's for us to help them understand why it needs to be cleaned up, but it's all of our job to clean it up because at some point in life, we did something that now we're calling that P in the name of your organization. A what? A pollutant. We may have done it inadvertently. Like I meant you were washing our clothes. I would hope your clothes are clean. So don't dare think that you go back and tweet and say, well, Queen Quet said, stop washing your clothes. I never said that. Please wash the clothes, but let's be a little bit more eco-friendly about how we do it now. Because as my mama taught me, well, when I know better, when I supposed to do better. So we all may know a little bit better based on the science we've studied, based on the conclusions we've drawn through the work we've done. But are we able to break it down from techno-speak so that other people can understand it? Can we do something that's not an acronym, my brother? So that it is par excellence, so that the young kids will tweet it, that they will also want to be PRIMO. Because we can't all be scientists forever. We have to have another generation coming that says how we are going to heal the land and the water and how we can go out here and have a good plate of seafood and it really be wild and fresh and it be healthy. So I believe in divine order. I feel like all the work that I've done led me to this moment to meet this group par excellence and to welcome you to Charleston. That we all have been thinking about being organisms that would better the world and not destroy it, not pollute it, but be one living body when we leave here together, with one voice that says we're contributing to healing the nature of mother. That mother will be able to rest from tossing storms at us to try to get our attention. From her throwing up our garbage back on the shore to get us to clean it up. That we'll be able to communicate around the world in resounding voices in harmony together about how it's important that we don't pollute the water. To teach people the water is a living organism and that we should realize how blessed we are to recognize the fact that we too are the water. Because most of our body consists of water. So if you don't want that water out there polluted, it should be because you know ultimately it would pollute you too. So if you had no other motivation to clean it up than that, we'll take that selfish motivation and still do something. Because it's still up to all of us to do that work. And so I love it that a #1 par excellence group like PRIMO came to Charleston. That I'm the first one to get to greet you like a this thing like that. That's all week you won't be shocked. When I get here, you'll say, you won't be, oh, what? You'll say, oh, Gullah Geechee. Just go on up. Don't try to do it. It ain't gonna work. Just go on up. Or whatever language you speak. Okay, Jean-Paul say whatever. Just go up to the person. Hi. How you doing? I'm glad to be here in the Gullah Geechee Nation. And then said, oh, well, glad you're here. What you here for? Now they're going to get in your business. Well, where you come from? What you doing here? How long you going to be here? Yeah? Who your mama then? You got people here? Where they live? We do that. Because we want to know what part of our shore you on. And we really want to know, are you just visiting? Please tell us you're not coming to stay. We got enough of us. We don't mind you visiting. But long as you don't dirty up the house while you're here, we don't mind you coming back either. But we definitely need to lessen the building on the coast so that we can help protect the water too and save the land for the future. But as I always say, one of us take care of the root for heal the tree. And so the way we've healed the Gullah Geechee Nation is by standing together, united, and standing for our land, our waterway, our ancestry, and our culture. And we pray that while you're here in Charleston, this holy city, that you'll be blessed and that your meeting will truly be par excellence. Thank you to all the organizers. I'm so glad for Dale. We're on a chilling this evening. It has truly been a blessing. And when somebody named Rice email a Gullah Geechee, you know he's gonna get some attention.
Do you have any questions for Queen Quet today?
Don't get too personal, you might get an answer. No? They ready to go drink? Oh, go ahead.
How long have you been doing this? Since 2000?
When you say doing this, with what?
Being a spokesperson for...
I was elected, yes, I was elected in 2000, but I was doing this work before that, which is why I ended up being elected. I founded the first organization to exist in world history that had Gullah Geechee in the name, the Gullah Geechee Sea Island Coalition. I was the first person to teach an online course on Gullah Geechee culture, and the first one to ever put up a website with Gullah Geechee in it. And so it's been wonderful. For those of you who remember AOL, America Online, Net Noir, all right, I taught on Net Noir and all that, and I still have my AOL address. Thank you, I don't use Gmail. I know it's retro to y'all, but it's wonderful for me. Everybody knows that's Queen Quet when they get the email. So yes, I've been doing this already since 2000, so almost as long as PRIMO, almost 2 decades with this specifically, but I have almost 40 years doing the work that I'm doing. Yes, ma'am.
Are there any other ethnic minorities that include water, etc. in the culture, like the Gullah?
When you say, are there minorities that are central in the culture, we are the minority that is the culture, the Gullah Geechees.
Any other ethnic minorities that is sea, water, etc.?
Oh, there are others, but not that reside here. So we would be considered the minority group around here, yes. But around the world, of course, I meet up with a lot of them, yes. And some come to visit us too and join us. The Department of State brings a lot of visitors. Anybody else? No? We good? You have one. Go ahead.
So if you were to say there's one issue or maybe two issues that are PRIMO
Yes.
to the Gullah Geechee Nation
Yeah.
or to the coastal South Carolina,
Yes.
what would you say those?
What would they be?
Yeah.
Well, let's see now, that's two different things. To the Gullah Geechee Nation, to the coast of South Carolina. But I would say to the Gullah Geechees, one would be to stop the misrepresentation of our culture and our cultural community. And if I were to say to South Carolina's coast, right now for me, it would be to stop the offshore drilling issue and that movement toward ever doing it and having seismic untesting. And that ties right back to our culture. Our cultural heritage is inextricably tied to having seafood. That's a staple of our diet along with rice. All right? And so we can't have so much fire-off guns in the water that's going to run the seafood away on the out chance that you might, maybe, possibly could strike black gold when black gold's already here. They call Gullah Geechees black gold, so you don't need no more black gold on this coast. So that's how we look at it. But I think I give you those two as one from each part. Good? Good. Well, thank you. And if any of you are interested in learning more about Gullah Geechee culture, there's a few things. One, follow GullahGeecheeNation.com. That's our blog. That's our website. If you want to find me, I'm Queen Quet, so queenquet.com. You see Queen Quet up there. You can always find me there. And then you can also follow us at Gullah Geechee on Twitter. There's no I in Geechee if it's a we, okay? So spell that right. Okay? So at Gullah Geechee on Twitter, at Gullah Geechee on Instagram, and we're Gullah Geechee Nation on Facebook. I think this room still uses Facebook like I do. Okay. So you can use that, and we post things all the time. So we have Gullah Geechee TV, we
We have videos on there about our environmental work, about the Gullah Geechee Sustainability Think Tank, and various things. And we do a lot of partnerships with others, so definitely we'd like to continue our work with PRIMO. And so if you want to get any books tonight and learn about the history and culture and take them with you, I have some books in some of our bags, and all the proceeds go back to the work of the Gullah Geechee Sea Island Coalition, which continues to fight to sustain our coast and to keep our culture alive. And I'm only taking PayPal on your phone and cash. So if you don't have it, you can hit the ATM and then come on back. So I'll be up here while you all go down to the reception, signing and everything for everyone. And I just appreciate you all. And definitely, as they would say around here, when we were on the piazza and everything, welcome to Charleston. All right? And so we also just want to say from the Gullah Geechee Nation, we're so glad that 100 day and things like that. God bless all the 100 children while you're here. Peace and blessings.